Hey Spuddies, Potatomcwhiskey here, and welcome to Let's Play Imperator Rome. So, let's have a little bit of a peek at our empire and make sure that things are progressing as we want. I think we are going to have a small period of peace here, just to spend a little bit of time consolidating everything that we need to, in order to, get our culture in line, get our civilization in line. We are taking a bit of a penalty here for our aggressive expansion, so we want to let that bleed out a little bit, and we also want to build up some of these oratory and civic powers and stuff like that. There is a single province over here that I have to assign a governor to, which is really annoying because he's going to draw a full wage from that, and I want someone who has like a good mix of like skills. You have very low oratory power, so I'll put you in there. Okay, so that is this one province. So we want to start maybe trying to unite some of these regions into singular things so that we can start extracting more value from them as an entire region. So for example, here we would be going to war with a lot of different people. What about in Serbia? A lot of these little micronations. Could I expand further down here into the east towards Macedon and Greece? Perhaps that would be the right way to do things. Let's have a look at what this looks like. So these would be called in, these would be called in, these would be called in, these would be called in. I would not be able to get to most of them. What about Dalmatia? So they would call in quite a few guys on the border that we could easily take bites out of. We could bite out these guys, this little memer over here, and we could take these three sections here, which are all in the Illyria node. So I might go ahead and fabricate a claim on these guys. Not on you, sorry, on these guys. Oh, it's like a mountain pass. It's the only thing I can claim on. Now that's a really shitty one. What if I were to declare war on you? Who are your allies? What if I declared war on you? You have no allies. You're all alone. But you're kind of split. You've got a revolt of some kind. You're in a war. Maybe we'll hold off on declaring a war. So trade route wise, we do have an extra trade route down here. I don't think that's really super necessary because this guy will die eventually. And in fact, he is losing health because he has gout. There's not really much I can do to cure that. So we'll just let him continue. We'll be replacing him soon down here. Let's just double check that everywhere is gaining loyalty. Wish there was a little bit of an easier way to see where is losing loyalty. So Liguria over here, this province is losing loyalty because service was refused. Okay, that's fine. So loyalty is looking pretty stable. So I'm tempted to go take on Boy and just accept this massive war that's going to come down on top of us because it will let us unite the region of Cisalpine Gaul. So let's grab some of these guys, these armies here. No, I don't want to grab this army. These two, bring them over here. Are you assigned? You are assigned to this region. Pannonia will want its own regional guard too eventually. So you're on the way, you're on the way. You're already over here. You are on the way as well. Okay. We've got our troops moving out. We'll let kind of peace reign for a little bit. Now, in our capital region, we have room for more of these marketplaces, which will give us a lot of civilization. More importantly, just more money. Let's go into the macro builder and start slapping in some of these things. I think I'll go for another one of these. Though the happiness will be quite good because the average happiness would be brought up a bit. Okay. Slaves are happy. Now, if I wanted to really optimize, I would move all the slaves of the wrong culture into, like, the outer provinces and have granaries in them. Like, maybe do that over here. Would have been better. I actually kind of want to slap in more granaries in here as a sort of thing to keep this province growing, highly populous. You can kind of see the population map mode as my provinces are growing. You can also see the civilization map mode. We are spreading civilization around the world. Down here, it's growing relatively slowly, but that's fine. I could swap this, but I need some of these pops to change their culture. So, we want to do a boost. We want... No, sorry. What was it? What the hell am I trying to do? I'm trying to remember what the hell I was doing. Let's just let time pass. Oh, that's right. I was building things in my capital region. Marketplaces. It looks like we cleaned it all up. So, expansion of the tribes would give me immigration. Our system requires granularity, so this would give us some extra loyalty to our provinces for 5 years and some extra pop growth for 20 in our capital, which is cool. I agreed to that. So we're going to set up for a war here. I definitely... Yeah, a new guy has arrived. Cool. Definitely might want to get another military idea. Now, light infantry morale would mean they would fight for longer, but they would take more casualties, which is kind of the painful part of that. You are going to be on independent operations because I believe you're assigned, and you're going to be on skirmishing stance. Okay, so the governor of this region actually died, so we could pick a younger guy. Let's have a look. He died as I was interacting with him. This guy is 44. This guy's 23, and he's a decent leader across the board, but low charisma, which means he's less likely to get troops loyal. So any changes I make to this guy will be in place for a long time. Looks like he has decided to boost his own income. A piece of trash. I don't want to do that. I'm going to have to spend some money to make changes here. I mean, he correctly identified a place where it would be okay to civilize. But over here, it would be way better off civilizing. The local tax just super isn't worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and... Because this is culturally... Well, this is culturally questionable, actually. We're going to go ahead and do cultural assimilation in here. And then similarly in here, we'll do cultural assimilation. Just so it's in position for when we conquer this area. I'm going to take on Bois. Or Boy. Or whatever you want to call it. I will let my manpower tick up for maybe a year. So the consul gained dementia, and there's nothing I can do about that. He is in charge of an army. He is now weaker, and he should die because of dementia fairly quickly. Yeah, the dementia is killing him pretty quick, alright. Okay, aggressive expansion, tyranny. Extra money available. Oh, do I want to move people around inside my capital? That is a good question, because there are some goods that we are not producing a surplus of. For example, wood. We could move some slaves out of the capital into Circei. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We did lose a building there. That was not ideal. But Circei now has 11, and it needs... How many? It needs 4 more. So let's grab them out of Fundy. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we have a surplus of wood, which is giving us a extra bit of base tax, right? But it's also going to give us trireme discipline, which is not amazing. Civic faction will be more likely to back me. I will take that. That's fair. I don't mind owing them favors. So the building map mode. Circei is now thingied. Let me have a look. Are the slaves happy in here? No, we could definitely use a granary in here to make the slaves a bit happier. Let's make sure we have this area filled out. More granaries. The reason I'm just trying to see if like building granaries is like interesting in making these like provinces really populated. And seeing if I can build up like a high population province beside Rome. I have a bunch of money. I could hire on some mercenaries permanently if I wanted to. Okay, we got some barbs here. You are going to deal with them. This is going to hurt the civilization value in here by 18, which is painful. But I could, if I wanted to, maybe settle these guys. Now, there's a good chance you lose this because these are all really high quality troops. But you aren't skirmishing. Although, I don't know what the hell is going on there. You have discipline, I guess. They're low morale. So we kicked them out. We could settle these guys and get 5 tribesmen over here. They're Hellenic Qataris as tribesmen. Like, I mean, that's like extra pop, you know what I mean? I mean, sure, it lowers my research efficiency, but now I don't have to deal with them. Really, this should... If I was being smart, this should be a civilization effort to get rid of that mountain thing. I'm pretty sure there is a small chance that there will be a civilization improvement in this if the governor is on that. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but something like that. Okay, so a little bit of money there. Are all my armies in position? Right, well let the year tick and run for a bit. Let's have a look. Freeman promotion. Let's just quickly promote a few freemen in the capital region. I want to keep one freeman pop around just so that we can grow freemen if needs be. And also in Etruria, it could be good to grow freemen as well, because they will eventually be max happiness. I mean, they're a little bit unhappy because they're not my exact core culture. So that could be an argument towards culturally converting these guys. We are doing social mobility. Which has balanced out this province pretty nicely. You can see you've got a good balance of most of the different types of pops. So we could start culturally converting this. Get it to be my primary culture. Which would increase their average productivity. Because they wouldn't be taking this minus 10% base happiness cost. Across their freemen and citizens, which would be great. So I tell you what, we're going to do cultural assimilation, and then we're going to spend just a little bit of these points to promote some of these. This is in my capital region, right? Yeah, it is. And we'll promote a few of these freemen. There's no tribes in here, right? I've started to cut out the tribesmen from my nation. That's good. Okay, we have a new omen available. I could do a pop growth, right? It's up to 30%. Let's check the unrest mode. I mean, unrest is actually pretty manageable. This would make it entirely manageable. Basically cut almost all of the unrest in my nation to 0. Whereas pop growth would result in... Let's do the math. It is calculator time. Okay. So if we get 0.3 pop per month per city. So we go... well, first thing we have to do is you have to figure out how long this is going to happen. So this would be for 2008 days. So 2008 days divided by 365 equals that. That's how many years? 5.5 years. Multiply that by 12. So we get 66 times 237, which is the number of cities. So that's how many months and cities it'll take. That gives me 15,000. And then I multiply that by 0.03. And then I divide that by 100. And that... So, clicking this button would directly, across my empire, have a growth representative of getting me 46 new pops, which is equivalent to conquering like a couple of provinces. So I could do that. I would get 46 new pops and I would grow a little bit. Or I could do national unrest and just expand easier, right? Like, so I feel like that's not really worth it ever. Let's fabricate a claim on this. Like, for this, I can get, for like a very quick and easy war, I can get like 200 pops or something from this. So we've got our first claim. Any of these we want to grab? I think starting experience is actually pretty decent. I'm going to settle these guys too. They're the wrong culture and religion and stuff, but that's fine. We'll sort that out later. But it's just easier to settle the barbs and then sort them out later because it just increases our pop. Now, what is our technology rate? It's a little bit low, but we're still ahead of time, so we're not too worried about it. How much is it for me to purchase? It is 640 gold. So we just lost a admiral, second navy. These guys are pretty experienced by now. They take 10% less damage. I'm going to put in anyone with boat abilities, a bit of discipline there. You would be a decent guy. Maybe like 8-ish. We'll take this guy. He is a Liberian, which is in our Latin group. So this is one of the guys who isn't directly our culture, but he's in our sort of sphere of cultures, which is why we want to make use of him. So I'm curious, how does the piracy mechanic work? Number of trade routes, ships in port. Interesting. So if I put this in here and click on it, the ships in port actually cuts that down. So you'd want to have like ships all over your empire guarding against piracy. Interesting. Okay. Do I want to fabricate another claim on one of these guys? It would just lower my aggressive expansion, and I'm only really looking to take out these two. I might take a bite out of this guy, but I'm mostly looking to take these two guys on. So let's get the war declared. I'll happily eat a little bit of AE. So you go for that fort, you go for that fort. These are heavy infantry. I do need to replace you at some date. You go in and support. You actually can act independently because you're part of the governor. So I'll just let you do whatever you want. While my heavy infantry stack hopefully goes to take out this. In terms of wars, it might be good to make some tribal vassals here. Or, I tell you what, actually, we're just going to park this army right on this fort defensively. This army needs to be remade as well. There's a doctrine I want to follow. Make life easier. We'll wipe that army out pretty quick. Doesn't even matter because we caught them without morale. Make sure we're sieging down things. Army morale recovery. National manpower isn't bad. Religious tech investment. I'm going to go for the national commerce income there because that's pretty decent. So you're actually going to struggle here because you're pretty weak. So I'm going to support you. We're taking some heavy losses, but in theory, I'm going to put these guys on defend borders. I think that actually is more intelligent. That's what these guys are for. They're for defending. Now, the good news is that all this light infantry is like absorbing a bunch of damage from my main army. We killed a bunch. Captured a pop. Sent them to the capital. Captured more. Go ahead and get to here and capture even more. Let's go ahead and take out this. My score is starting to go off the screen, amazingly. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. A bit of a civilization level increase. Any new things? An oratory. Endorsed party cost. Ooh, and war score cost. Yes, that one is nice. Oh, diplomatic rep is actually really good. So we'll grab that. It's not quite as good as it was in EU4. Siege ability, hostile attrition. I definitely want both of those. Those are both really, really good at burning down the manpower of your potential enemies. Let's go ahead and start capturing more slaves. That's definitely something we want to do. I know I did a lot of hemming and hawing this game, or this episode, but hopefully we shall still make good progress. Right, more slaves have been taken. Ah. There is an army up here. They're going to take a bunch of slaves. These are pops we don't really care about, though, to be honest. And we've got our fort here. We'll eventually sort this stuff out. You can take those slaves. I don't care. It's more slaves we can take later and put them in our cap. I want to capture and flip as many of these provinces individually as we can. Go join that. Oh, you should not be on forced march anymore. Taking some hefty losses because their flank is very wide, but our troop quality is doing us a good favor. We brought in another army to join the fight. Flip that there. Go cap this. You can get out of here. Head up and cap that fort. Should have definitely maybe built some forts up in this area. We will next time. Or like, let's see. Rome was the military faction. Attempted bribery. We'd gain 100 mil points, which would let us take another idea. Now, light infantry morale does kind of appeal to me because that means they can fight longer. But their job is mostly to absorb damage. Now the hills combat bonus is also kind of interesting. There aren't really all that many hill provinces. So this is like, this applies in a very small number of circumstances. And I don't really want the trireme maintenance cost. I would much rather get like the siege engineers or perhaps get up here to build the military roads. And get our heavy infantry quality up much higher. So that would also appeal to me. The question is, do I want to construct the border fort or do I want to build military roads? There's a thing we can do to like glance at these. So this is basically a way to turn manpower and military power into forts instantly. Wait, does that steal? Does that steal provinces? Is this a way to steal provinces? I'm interested. We are going to go down to border forts and see how they work. Because I think that might mean we can steal provinces. So there's a big stack coming in to fight us here. Thankfully we have a reinforcing stack coming. It is just light infantry and cavalry. But that should be enough to turn the tide. We're taking some hefty losses, but once the light infantry reinforces, there it is. Now the battle is tipping in our favor because our cavalry is so good. That's the main objective of light infantry, is just they're light troops that absorb damage for your main fighting force. It doesn't mean we burn through a lot of manpower. So we've got a new guide, the mercantile faction, which means our diplomatic reputation is quite high. It means actually annexing these vassals over here. Although I kind of like keeping these guys around. I feel like they're doing a good job. We will eventually need to expand into Greece. I kind of like to expand in like one direction at a time, because I feel like then I can manage the aggressive expansion and stability and all the things that are coming with that. Looks like some more people have joined the war, which is good actually for me, because it means I can take more of the things that I want. So you're assigned to that region. You're going to go through here and start capturing some of this territory. You're going to come back this way and fight some of the good fights over here. Definitely could use more forts up in this area. I'm very, very, very light on forts actually, now that I'm examining things. So we could definitely slap a fort down in here to defend our coastline. Could be another fort in here. So we'll do a fort here. And a fort over here. Just so people can't like run riot inside my territory, you know? Control them step by step. Let them siege down, take attrition, all that sort of jazz. Now I could have waited for a military advance there to save a few points, which probably wouldn't have been a bad move. Okay, we're doing all the stuff we need to so far. Anyway, we have the war leader siege down. So that's pretty damn important. They are stealing a lot of my people away, which is annoying. Let's go siege down the forts there. That's what we're good at. We've got a martial advance. Now, I think we're a little bit ahead of tech on these guys, and we are. So this army might have a bit of trouble winning this fight. That one should be an easy kill. Need a new guy here. Martial advance wise, we are going to pick up hostile attrition and siege towers ideally. In fact, I'm also tempted to just buy 25 points here, just to make sure I can get that in a reasonable amount of time. You can see they're stealing pops. These are mostly wrong culture pops, if I recall. Yeah. That doesn't bother me too much. Potentially more slaves to be taken later. Yeah, you just running rampant over here. We've actually traded pretty evenly slaves-wise, which is not ideal. Ideally, we want to be the ones taking slaves for our cities. So it looks like they're going to try and start a fight here. Now, this is a pretty tough army, but it is heavily outnumbered. You're in position to support. A petitioner. I could kill him. But I don't think that's like a smart move. I could get the oratory power, or I could get the gold. The gold scales really nicely, actually. So we've got our light infantry holding the front, and then we've got the heavy infantry holding the sides, and then we've got heavy cavalry fighting on the outskirts. So we're trading pretty evenly, but we have a morale advantage. We're chopping through them pretty handily now morale-wise. That's what the light infantry's job is, just to absorb. Okay, we captured some pops. Let's move in. Let's get this support army moving in as well now, to make sure we win this battle. We should be building up a decent amount of experience on a lot of these armies. Got that nice reinforcement tick too, which feels pretty good. You're coming in to help. That's good. Just do your job. Bratina. Let's go ahead and take that province, see if we can flip it. Well, no, let's get you out into the important bits. I'm not too worried about this. He's being sieged by barbs. In fact, you can see the trail of the barbarians having come from these mountains over here. Okay. Let's pull you off to heal. This is a very light army going up against an equally light army, but you should be able to handle this. If not, we can bring these guys in. The governor of Magna Graecia has just died, which is this entire area down here. So we can select a new governor for that if we wish. And we will. We are going to go ahead and pick up Fabius. Unless there's a government position for civic power. Yeah, no, Fabius should be fine. He's a bit old. No, he's only 47. We'll put Fabius in charge. He has decent stats. Now, curiosity-wise. Yeah, I'm not sure if I agree with that. A lot of what you're doing in here. I don't know about bleed them dry. Like, that seems like excessive. You're hurting the pop growth, all that sort of stuff. And then a lot of this, like, local autonomy, like, it just reduces the output of these guys so much. Also, we definitely don't need freemen in here. In fact, this place has been pretty heavily civilized, but not quite fully. Let's have a look. Is there anywhere where, like, an excess, like, is missing citizens, basically? Like, this should definitely be civilizing away these tribesmen, in my opinion. It is kind of expensive to change that, though. Like, in here, we have a bunch of... Oh, we have a decent number of tribesmen in here. Definitely worth civilizing this province. Trying to get rid of those tribesmen. Because they're just going to get increasingly unhappy as time goes on. So, let us civilize this area. There's a 16% chance that a tribesman converts away. What about down here? Most tribesmen are gotten rid of. In fact, I'm going to promote... I'm going to use the promotion feature to make sure we just get rid of all the last tribesmen. So now we have a bunch of freemen in here that could be slaves and citizens, which is what we really care about, because manpower isn't super important. So what we're going to do in here is we're actually going to implement social mobility, which will hurt our short-term research output, but will in the long term even out the pop in here. To, you know, for example, one of these freemen should move up or down. One of them will move down, then one might move up, and so on and so forth. A lot of these freemen will be redistributed because, like, we're pretty heavy on slaves and freemen in this province, so we definitely want to even out the pops, and then we can start moving them around to get surpluses of goods and stuff like that. You know, we can do a little bit of micromanagement. You know, that's one thing I really like about this game is they have made the internal management of your realm really really engaging, and like it's almost like a second little game you play. Okay, so we've got a good matchup here. We've got light cavalry against light infantry. We have a fairly weak matchup in the middle, but we should still come out on top if our light cavalry win convincingly on the flanks. And there it is. We broke. Now the light cavalry doing the job of the flanking. Okay, let's go get some of this DC, because we're probably taking some war exhaustion. Go ahead and start sieging down some of these provinces. These guys are fully sieged, so we could probably sue them out of the war. That's a lot of aggressive expansion, but it is worth. And we can cut some. Now, what is their culture? Their culture is the wrong kind of culture, so we're going to put them to the sword. We'll get some more forts in here and then feel nice and secure. Definitely want a fort up in one of these mountain or hill provinces to sort of secure this this region. But that'll be sort of a long thing. Now, the Horatians are some people we do want to absorb if we can. Okay. Tempted to put some heavy infantry into these armies to make them fit my composition a bit better. But we've made some good progress, right? We're slowly optimizing Rome. We're expanding. We're grabbing more territory. Now, Unrest will become a bigger and bigger problem in here, which will mean we'll need to assign more armies to the governor. Also, our manpower is ticking up a little bit slow. But that's okay. We're burning a lot of manpower in these wars. You can't quite do that. Is there anyone else we really want to fight? No, we're just going to piece these guys out and then peace out boy. So I suppose we could probably do that really quickly. Could buy that. Yeah, that's fine. Let's get some of this stuff desieged. Okay, you won't be able to escape, but you might be able to reinforce. You are in skirmishing stance, so you should be fine and avoid most of the damage. Fort to Hasta, eh? So look, yeah, it looks like it seems to prefer, like it'll always send some to your capital, but it prefers to send them to like the local province capital, which is pretty cool. I like that it spreads them out, because then you gotta kind of like play the little mini game, you know. And that's I find that little slave mini game very engaging. Let's see if we can head in here and pinch off these troops. Move slave class. That's really good. Like cavalry discipline. That's also really good. So now our light cavalry actually should have like plus 15. Yeah, plus 15% offense and plus 15% discipline. That's really cool. These guys are really powerful. In fact, I'd be very curious actually to see how they perform in combat. There's very, very, very few light cavalry in here. This needs to be reorganized, in all honesty. I don't know what I was thinking there with that army. Ooh, Bountiful Olive. So I could spend 500 gold and gain a research point, or... So we could build... this would only be in Perugia. Perusia. So this would give a... This would extend the bonus by 5 years... And also give me a small boost. So do I think Omen Power and Omen Duration is worth 500 gold? I mean, it's not bad. Again, 5% Omen Power is like having 5% more of your pops following your religion. So that seems pretty decent to me. And extending it for 5 years? Yeah. Yeah, we'll do it. These guys are getting obliterated by our heavy cohorts. In fact, we can see here, if we hover over our light cavalry here, you can see their discipline is giving them 25% extra damage, and they get an extra 25% against chariots. Now, we're losing on terms of tactics, which is fine, but we get so many damage multipliers that we're inflicting 42 casualties a day. That is insane. We consider that chariots that are hitting us on the flank are doing 26. These are fully healed up chariots. So yeah, just the discipline and all these nice things are really working out for us. We should be able to piece out these guys in a second. Let's go ahead and... Oh, we are getting sieged. Why don't you go take care of that one? Wait, where was the stack? You are going to be defend the borders. Well, soon. I definitely wanted the siege ability. He was a general of Legion 5. So Legion 5 is actually a well-built legion in my opinion. The only difference I would change is that we could probably support a slightly heavier legion. We could maybe slip in an extra 2 cavalry and go up to 16 weight. $16 might be a bit high. No, 16 should be fine. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to recruit an extra 2 cavalry. And I'm going to assign a commander. I like to assign a commander. This is my own personal thing. Let's have a look. Anyone? Siege ability with Marshal. This guy would be good at sieging down stuff. So would this guy. This guy's a little bit old. He makes armies loyal, which is kind of dangerous. Oh, can I piece this guy out yet? I need to remove all the occupations that he has. So we'll quickly piece... We'll get this war ended, and then we'll... Rome gets this. Local tax, tribal influx. Cool. So we're just going to tidy up all this stuff. And then we should be able to piece out this war and call it an end. I was going to end the episode sooner, but I wanted to get this war tidied up and packed away. Barbarians have risen up, and it looks like they're coming into my territory onto one of my forts. You could have an opportunity. You can, if you kill the barbarian horde, you get slaves. If you settle them, you gain tribesmen. And I think in this particular one, we're going to kill. Religious idea advance. That's going to open up some new things. Navy morale recovery. National population growth is definitely something I want to take, so I'm going to boost my civic power. Right, these guys are ready to be sued for peace. I'm going to grab all their provinces and then peace them out. And they are the wrong culture, so we will put them to the sword. And then finally we'll peace out boy. Who is that boy? So we've heavily expanded. I'm definitely going to need to improve the army that is defending this area quite a bit. But we'll do that in the next episode. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying this series so far. Please remember to subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I love you all very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.